21.
Yeah, 21, the fourth page of your packet.
25,
So that would give homeowners,
5 more feet on the side, right?
yes, sir. It would give them 5 more feet on each side. It would give them 10 feet on the rear and 10 feet on the front.
And there's some of those houses, I'm assuming, are beyond the setback now already.
Yes, sir.
They're sitting on the setback, or inside the setback that exists in R2.
Yes, sir.
So if something happened to their house, they wouldn't be able to rebuild it.
If it was more than a certain percentage, they would, so if it's more than 51%, I believe is what our code is. If it's
60, I think.
60, okay. If it's substantially damaged, then, I need to go grab my book, actually, I don't have it in front of me. If it's substantially damaged and they have to basically rebuild the whole structure, there's a certain point where it has to come into compliance with the new zoning code.
Right,
This would make that a lot more lax
right,
on the homeowner
right.
for their setbacks.
They could be able to build that without
Yes.
having to come from
Yes,
council and get a variance or whatever.
yes,
And give them more room.
yes.
Okay, we'll open it up. We have a question.
Well, do all the lots that are being rezoned, do they all have structures on them now, or homes?
I don't think all of them. I think maybe 1 or 2 of them were empty. I know one of them is a city parcel, but we have to go through, we have to advertise as well.
Sure.
Not that it'll ever be changed, it was just within that grouping of that lot size. And so we just did everything along those 2 streets that met that criteria.
Since this is city instigated, that's not the word, but you're doing it. Have there been any opposition? Have any of the people contacted and talked about this, if they don't like it, or they just mostly asking for answers? Or are we fixing to get into that in just a little while?
I'm assuming probably a little while.
Okay,
I know Karen and Jennifer took a bunch of phone calls.
okay,
They answered most of the questions.
okay.
Only a couple of them got transferred to me. But it seemed to me that after everybody had an explanation of what this was and what it would do for them, they were okay or happy about it. And understood, zoning is not a really easy thing. I mean, our book, in a little bitty city like us, is this thick, so it's not a really simple subject, but everybody after I explained it to them that I talked to seemed to be pretty happy about it.
Well, I know when I first got the email that you sent out to all of them, and what you were doing, and I saw in there where this is what the city was doing, I was opposed to it. And of course, I called you, and we worked through it, and the benefits are, of course, I had a situation some years ago where similar in another county, another town, where something was substantially damaged and was unable to build it back because the zoning was not proper there, whatever it was. But I guess we'll find out in a little bit. It looks good to me.
Now, I'm under the impression, you let me know if I'm wrong, you still can only build in R3 a single-family residential house. You cannot build townhomes.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So
No,
we're
no
still talking about
townhomes,
single-family.
Duplex,
no duplex,
No duplex,
single family.
single-family.
only.
Home.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's, okay.
Okay, we're gonna open it up. Have anyone want to speak in favor of this rezone?
You want to speak in favor of it?
Oh, I have a question, because you say, okay,
You would come
R3.
up to the podium here and give us your name.
Where we can hear you a little
Address.
bit.
Oh, okay, because I couldn't hear what you guys were saying.
Oh, okay,
so-
I'm sorry.
You say R3, it will be still a single-family structure,
Correct.
but you say something about it, somebody wants to build a shop? Didn't you say something about a shop?
Workshop.
Yes, so if you wanted to build like a accessory building, like a workshop, you could use these setbacks.
or a storage building.
Mhm.
Not a business.
Oh, not a business.
Not a
but
business.
something, okay,
No,
I
no.
live at the end of 280.
Call it a
at the end
garage.
of Bell
Yeah.
Avenue. And it's a dead end, and because there is a sign right past the residence that says, dead end, they should have put a way up, you know, so people wouldn't go down there. There's a lot of turning around of people, besides the traffic that goes down there for different reasons, but, so the traffic is already bad on Bell Avenue being a dead end street. And I'm worried about, you know, what is it gonna be like once you rezone, but you're saying just residential.
Yes.
Strictly residential.
And it's not being rezoned for anyone in particular. There aren't any developers coming in here wanting to buy these lots.
Oh, but
To
I
put
heard that
homes?
someone is buying the lot next to me and the one below, there's somebody interested.
Some, you know, individuals may be buying individual lots,
Yeah.
but nobody's looking at buying a group of lots
Okay,
and making a subdivision. This is just for the homeowners.
okay. You told me this morning that our residence was, because it's a little below the acre.
It was under the acre, yes,
But there's
ma'am.
other houses in this area that have less than an acre that are not targeted, but Bell Avenue and West Jackson is targeted.
Those are the, if I can get, show it off.
I need to move.
No, sir, you're fine. Generally, when you, this one's R3, but they're smaller lots. This is R4, these are R1, these are our large lots, and these are R2. Generally, you want to have a transition in zoning. So what we did is we looked at the small lots along here and went with R3 because it provides that R1, R2, R3, R4 transition.
Okay.
So the ones that we skipped in R2 were the lots right here that were over an acre. So anything that was under an acre, we went with R3.
So everything under an acre was on the right side of Bell Avenue.
Yeah, anything under an acre in between these two lines is what we went with.
Because I know there's some on the left side or less than an acre.
We would have to look at them on the left side.
On the left side of Bell Avenue, coming down from 53.
Yeah, we didn't go down, we stopped at Bell. And some of these are actually, these are OR already, which is a smaller lot size.
On Bell Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
what
then
did it,
these ones on Mulberry, they're incredibly small. They wouldn't be buildable under any zoning district. Somebody would have to buy
They're
buy
small.
them and put them together, yeah.
that's what I thought. Why aren't they being rezoned?
They aren't because somebody would have to buy them and put them together to build a new house on them because they are so incredibly small. They're like 5,000 square feet apiece. The
Okay,
ones on Mulberry.
okay. Okay, I guess that's,
We don't have a zoning district that's that small.
okay. And there will be no duplexes or apartments, or that's in black, will be in black and white, or could they change, the city change, or once we're rezoned, can they change their mind and say someone wants to build a duplex or an apartment?
They would have to come in for a rezoning. It would have to go back before the Planning and Zoning Commission and then back before the council again.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can I ask you a question?
Roseanne.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you like this? Are you in favor of this? Are you opposed to it?
I don't know, there's a lot of, if it would mean, yeah, I'm not really against it, no.
Okay,
I wish there were more things being done to Bell Avenue
I
besides
understand
the rezoning.
I understand that.
There's a lot that needs to be done.
Okay.
Well, this would help, I think, if something was to happen to one of those houses and it's non-compliant, then they wouldn't be able to build it back. With this R3 zone, they can
Yeah.
go back a nice house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got
Don't need
worried
an
when
for
you
have a
said,
home on that lot.
yeah, I don't worry what he said about the shop, because I thought we don't need any more
No,
traffic.
no,
in
no
that
business can do it.
No, it'll just be a
Okay.
personal use,
Yeah,
Okay,
storage building or whatever.
Okay.
okay.
Rosanna,
Yes.
ask about the tree.
the what?
The tree that keeps tearing their cars up.
Anyone else speaking
There's one.
in favor of?
Yeah,
Okay.
got a question too. My name is Antoine Aston, 265 Bell Avenue. Of course, here, there's a piece on the proposal of bill
Oh,
that's
yes.
not included in the red marker. Why is that? Here, yeah, there's a piece of time. Yeah, but this piece here.
An acre or larger?
Yes, sir.
That's why it's not, an acre or larger.
Say again?
If they were over an acre,
Yeah,
they're, so R2 requires a minimum lot size of half an acre.
gotcha.
If it was double that, we didn't include it. So the ones you see that are R2,
Yeah.
in between West Jefferson and Bell,
Okay.
that are not included,
Mhm.
they're over an acre.
Okay, I
Or
understand.
like
So in the,
0.9
in the
acres.
red, it's just where everybody's property line is marked off at, correct? If I'm looking at it right.
Yeah, so the
Okay.
the gray lines are the property lines.
Yeah.
And the red is just hashing it off, saying those are the ones that we're considering.
I understand. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, to answer your question, Mr. Latham, I have no issue with it as long as it didn't, of course, acquire more traffic, which means we weren't getting apartments, duplexes, or things of that nature, which we aren't.
It's not adding any more density.
Yes, yes,
And you
sir.
live there?
Yeah,
You live on Bel
I
Air?
do, yes, sir.
Okay, good.
I believe I'm on the side of the street, it's not, to be rezoned. But
Okay.
of course, just living on the street, like Ms. Rosanna said herself, we get enough traffic
Yeah.
as it is. Not all for great purposes, of course, but we do have a lot of traffic on there. I don't know if you guys address this or not, but the dead end sign is in the wrong place. The dead end sign is at the dead end.
Well, I'm sure.
You know it already when you get there.
Just to make it a note, somebody ought to take care of that in the next few days.
That will.
Uh-huh.
It needs to be down in front of the church, really, I
Yes,
guess.
sir. Yeah, because
That's right.
it's literally up the
So
street
people can
past
turn.
our driveway. Because they have to turn, I have to wrap around driveway with the huge tree
Yep.
that's, that I can't do anything with, because it's registered with the state or whatnot. But because my driveway is a wraparound driveway, my driveway is often used
To turn
as the
around.
turnaround versus
Okay,
with the
good.
dead end.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else in
Twan, you wanna mention
favor?
that Bell Avenue that needs to be fixed?
That's the city hall, the city council.
Like
has to do that,
outbound?
yeah. Excuse me.
My name is Dallas Knight.
Yes, sir.
I live at 134 Bell Avenue, right across the street from Billy Hope.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm not concerned with people getting close to my property line. I'm concerned with the houses getting bigger and the water is coming in my yard. It's already a river right there. If somebody wants to build a house in an empty lot next to me, that's fine. But have some kind of drainage, because when it rains hard, I can't even get out my front door. We're going up to my ankles. Is there any way that ditch, all the water and from here all around comes right down? It's a road right beside me on my right side. Nobody can get close to that, I don't think. Are you familiar with that?
Not
Make that tree.
right off the top of my head, but I know what you're talking about. Yes, sir.
Well,
But it
Can you show me where you live on my map, where I live?
You did last time.
This is, this
You
is
mind?
Walnut, Mulberry.
Which one is yours?
Road goes up through
this is
here.
me right here.
And
Okay, right there.
This is the empty lot right
Yeah,
here.
okay, good, okay.
And this, and right here,
I think he's
Billy Hope's house was right in here. Anyway, there's a road where Billy lives on. And that road a long time ago, supposed to go straight.
They stopped right
They
there.
stopped right there on Bell Avenue, but still, we cut the grass, me and my neighbor.
Uh-huh.
But now, that's one that has all the bamboo trees on it?
No, that's, Walnut Street.
Walnut Street, right.
My mother owned that lot,
Okay.
right there. But it's like a river. When it rains, you don't believe it. Call Billy Holder, he'll tell you, he's seen it where you couldn't even see the grass, all you seen is water. But everything from the hill, from the Methodist church, from that hill, all around here, comes down right down through there.
I can't touch the tree.
We need some kind of, I don't see how we make that ditch any deeper, because we got water running across it, we got gas. I don't know, we gotta do something.
What was your address, sir? It was 137?
134.
134.
Bell Avenue. I don't know. Only thing I disapprove with this is the houses are getting bigger and more water is washing right there.
Tell me your name again, sir.
You want me?
That was nice.
No.
Okay. If I were you, if it was me,
Okay.
I'd march right in there tomorrow and discuss drainage, water and drainage issues on my lot and in my neighborhood. Of course, that could be attended to in my mind. They have some small crew around here that can do this type of stuff, and they should come and look and see, even though it's not raining right now. But they come out there and prepare for it. It is gonna rain again.
We always coming.
That's what I would do. Okay. Now, I don't know that we here tonight can help you, but I don't think anything that we're doing here tonight is gonna hurt you either.
Well, if you build a bigger home there, it can hurt me.
They're always there.
I don't know the
On the
minimum.
roof of the house, it's gonna, then you're taking up drainage.
It runs off, you got the
dirt.
impervious, whatever, I understand. But if a person builds a house on the lot next to you, they gotta get it permitted.
Yeah.
And they gotta go through all that the city requires. And they gotta retain the water or run it off at a rate of speed, just like the good Lord put it on that lot. They gotta enforce that.
Well, I've been here 38 years, and ain't nothing been done yet.
Okay, okay. That's what they're supposed to
We
do.
still got a river. I
Okay.
got plenty of fishing poles. Fish out there yet.
You got a seine?
We do understand your concern,
My
that
problem.
you have our sympathy, but there's nothing we can do about it tonight. But we appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
We can definitely have the guys come out and take
Yes.
a look at it.
There you go.
But
Now
if
we're
you-
gonna get
if you
something done.
would-
Yes.
If you would, come in and let Karen know,
I will.
and that way she can write it on there, and, they'll have a record for the guys to go out there and take a look at those ditches and make sure we're not having problems.
Mr. Dallas, is there a pipe that goes underneath the road?
No, just a ditch. The radio comes out there and cuts it a little deeper sometimes, but it can't go too deep because you got gas, you got water lines, everything's running across that. He's right on top of the water line now.
Yeah, okay.
It's a problem.
Yes,
I understand.
we appreciate you bringing that to our attention.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dig it deep enough.
Anyone else in favor?
I had clarification questions, is that?
Yes, sir, come on up.
All right, thank you.
Give us your name and address.
Sir. My name is Joe Vogt, I live at 777 Buck Trail here in Hoschton. Are there any implications with the rezoning as it relates to assemblage of the parcels? In other words, is it easier to assemble these parcels as a single parcel in R3 as it would be in R2? Or is there no implications?
No.
Any implications regarding utilities? So when you rezone for larger lot, is there any implications in terms of minimum service size for water lines or sewage?
So that area is already serviced by water.
Okay, but what I'm talking about is in some locations, the zoning will require a certain size service for a certain zone lot. Is there any implications going from R2 to R3
All
in terms
these
of the size
require
of the service?
three-quarter.
No, sir.
There's no, okay.
They're all the same.
Any implications on any other utilities like water, sewer, or anything else in terms of capacity?
No, because we're not changing the lot, the amount of the lot numbers, we're just changing the designation of the lot itself.
That's all I have. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Yes. Anyone else in favor?
I have another question,
Okay, okay, come on.
and then I'll be quiet. We have the oldest, largest oak tree on Bell Avenue. He was talking about he has to drive under. He also goes on a driveway. It destroyed one of my cars at one time. And because it's an act of God, whatever, I had to pay for the car. And Juan told me that the tree is registered with the state and so it cannot be touched. But if it hurts, you know, one of my grandchildren playing around, or his children, or is the state required to reimburse us? We're just out of luck.
We have no idea, we have
The city
no
can,
answer to that.
the city can do anything about trimming it or making it safer.
If it's a state issue, you have to get with the state.
The big oak tree right here in front of my funeral home is huge, and it's covering not power lines, but telephone lines.
Oh, yeah.
And they will not do anything. I said, okay, what if a limb falls and it knocks out all of our phone systems?
Ours
and
has.
internet, yeah.
That one has.
They will not touch it.
Nobody touches
No,
it.
ma'am. Georgia Power will not touch
It's
it.
very dangerous and
Even
nobody
if
will
you,
touch it.
even if you complain, and I've got another pecan tree limbs that's actually on power lines. Now, you would think they would do something with power lines, but if it's on your private property, they won't touch it until something happens.
But it's on private property, you say,
That's
so
correct.
what they're saying, that the owner of the property is
Well,
responsible?
then you can call it in, and then they'll come out and do something.
The state?
No, ma'am. Either Georgia Power or
Oh,
Jackson
once it
City.
just
Yes,
falls
ma'am.
down and ruins everything.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's something really.
I love our trees, and we lost a big oak tree, and thank goodness it fell into my parking lot during a funeral.
Mhm.
And thank goodness nobody was parked underneath it.
Right,
It's huge. But if it had fell the other way, it would have took out 7 power lines right there on West.
that one is taking
East
out
Jefferson.
power lines, phone lines, everything, and one branch is as big as a
Oh, they're
tree.
huge.
And
Yes,
like I
ma'am.
say, it ruined our car,
Mhm.
and there was nothing we could do about it. So there's nothing that the city.
If it's still living, it cost me $1,200 to get the tree taken care of after it was down.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Nothing we can do as a planning commission.
Yeah.
You might can talk with someone and clerk and do,
I
they
have.
may
I
give you in the right, send you in the right direction, I don't know.
I'll
The state entity that protects that tree is, I'd say go there
Yeah.
and talk to them.
The state.
The
has
state
to-
extension
state,
board,
yeah.
they do
DNR,
it.
they may send out an arborist,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. If
That-
they're-
that's
It's
the
not,
only-
it's not disease, you're probably not gonna get any.
yeah, that's the only way I see it. Because we can't do anything for, like if the state protects it, we can't go over
Now,
that.
who do you get in touch with?
The state extension program, the state extension program. If you're probably home more than I'm home when they come out and survey that tree every 6 months
Mhm.
to make sure I haven't touched it. But the state extension board, they're supposed to be coming out in the next couple of weeks to
They're
actually,
supposed to.
because I've
Let me
complained
know if
like,
you know.
I've
Okay.
Who
complained like 6
registered
times.
the tree?
Say again, sir?
Who registered the tree to begin with?
UGA and the state extension board.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Maybe you should. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Do we have anyone who wants to speak in opposition?
I wanna, you can take it away, whatever it comes out as.
Okay.
Candy Ranch, 252 Beverage Christian. I wanted to ask, the lots that have, I'm assuming, I'm not looking at the one map that y'all have, but, I'm looking at the one I have on the map. But the R1 section, I'm assuming has houses, and the R2 section here has no homes on it, or it does?
They do.
They
Some of
do?
them
Most of these have homes on them.
Yeah.
How are you going to adjust the lots with homes on them? Is
They're
that-
over
We don't adjust a lot, we just adjust the distance you can get to the side property line or the front or the rear.
Okay, you're giving them more.
We don't adjust, we don't
What
adjust the
about
property
frontage?
lines at all.
What about the frontage? Is that'll stay the same?
Yeah, so
You
they,
talking about width
Yeah.
wise?
we can't adjust their property lines.
Right, oh yeah, I know that. So you're just, the easement, in other words, on the property lines?
So, sort of, they're called setbacks. So the setbacks are your building setbacks.
Mhm.
So what, changing their zoning would allow them to have a little bit smaller setbacks, which would put them into compliance with what they already are. Most of them are out of compliance with R2 setbacks anyway.
Mm.
That's the whole reason behind this, is the lot size is for all of them, probably, but 2 of them
Uh-huh.
is way too small, and the setbacks for the houses and stuff are non-compliant. Like one of the homes that was just redone, he had a side setback of, I think it was 7 feet, which is way out of compliance with what it should have been.
Okay. Because I was just thinking, any talk of widening West Jefferson, would that have anything to do with that?
No, ma'am. And they still have a,
What's the right of way, that's 60 feet?
I say West Jefferson 70 foot right there, but they would still have a front setback of 25 feet.
And that's from the right of way.
Yes.
Center of the road?
From the
Yeah,
center,
from
from the
the-
center
so-
line is 35 feet in each
Yeah.
direction.
There you go.
And the R,
Setback starts at
the R3 section that is in blue, which is not on y'all's full thing, but
Yeah, it's
it's
supposed to be 35 feet.
This
the
one?
R3 section, does that have anything on it?
No, ma'am. That's further
On
down.
the center of the road, your house
That's
is
still
supposed to be 35 feet.
Those are, I believe, duplexes. You know where they're doing the area senior village? That's that. I think these are duplexes right here at the corner of Jefferson Avenue and West Jefferson. And that's what that is, in that corner.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
anyone else speak in opposition?
Opposition.
Yes, come on up.
My name is Dwight Delafrere, I live at 15 Main Street. I own 3 properties that this is directly affected. 250 West Jefferson Street, 233 West Jefferson Street, and 36 Jefferson Avenue.
So you own 3 of the properties that we're trying to change from R2 to R3, and you're in opposition.
I'm not for it at all. This man said it's about changing the size of lots, not about zoning it. We change the size of lots from like a quarter of an acre to a half acre. And Bell Avenue was a half acre lot. And y'all put a sidewalk in there, for God knows why, I don't know. But anyway, you put a sidewalk in there, and I know that it took half of it, probably, I mean, not half of it, third of it, fourth of it. So it's a lot less than a half acre now. And personally, you know, I don't plan to ever sell those, so I don't think it would interfere with me personally. But I'm 5 years older than my wife, and I don't come from a long line of living people. I mean, I've already outlived, I was one of 4 children, and I've already outlived, and I'm 71, I've already outlived all the rest of them. 2 sisters and my brother. But I'm concerned about my wife. She says she doesn't want the things. She's gonna sell it, and I said, well, let's, you know, do whatever you want to after I'm dead and gone.
Well, I plan.
But
Yeah.
if you split the acres to a half acre, and I had nothing to do with putting that sidewalk there.
Well, we're not,
I know it's not a half acre anymore. That's a big sidewalk.
tonight, we're not rezoning it, we're not changing the size of the lots.
Well, that's what this man told me when I was
We're
in here.
saying some of them are half acres.
I don't think, I know 233 is 2/3 of the acre, but I don't know about.
We're not changing the size of your lot at all, is
I
what we're doing
understand,
tonight.
I understand. What you're doing is if I die, and which I will die, okay, before my wife, and she wants to sell everything off, you know, then whoever buys it can't probably buy it as it is. They can't buy it and put a house on it because you're gonna reduce the size of the lot.
We're not reducing the size of the lot.
He told me it's gonna be up to a half acre.
What this is going to do is increase the size of the footprint of a house that you can put on your lot, no matter which one it is. If you got a lot that's buildable now, it's gonna make it where you can make that house 5 feet wider on each side, which adds 10 feet in width to the house. You can make it closer to the street by 10 feet or closer to the back of the lot by 10 feet.
It doesn't have anything to do with acres.
It doesn't have anything to do with the size of your lot.
Half acre's not gonna be zoned a half acre lot.
No, you'll get more house on the same lot you got
And you're not gonna say, well, she can't sell this.
No, no, no.
In my
There'll
opinion,
be
in
more
my opinion,
sellable
it's gonna
then than there are
increase the
now.
value of the lot.
Yeah, it'll give you more room.
I think it's
Okay.
gonna be to your benefit,
What
in my
changed
opinion.
mine from opposition, it just, I don't like the halfback lot, because you took a bunch of my property.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I
now,
understand that. If that was the case, I'd understand where you're coming from.
I'd be on your side.
Yeah. You wanna pick again in
Yeah,
favor of this?
just question, since he has 3 lots, when he does pass, as he said, it's inevitable, we all have to go at some point in time, and it is sold, and he sell those lots as 3, they're only still able to put 1 home on that
Right.
lot, correct?
Yeah,
On
Okay.
each lot.
Yeah.
On each lot, not
Yeah.
combine it together and put 1 home on the lot, right?
yeah,
Okay, got it.
They'd have to rezone.
without coming in for a variance or rezoning or
Understand.
whatever to it, yeah.
Okay.
One more question. How long will it be, or is there a time being able to rezone again?
No.
There is no time?
Is it?
No, it is.
I mean, if you're denied, you have to wait 6
you're
months.
denied, yeah.
But
It
But
only
not-
if you're
not-
denied.
So
Only if you're denied.
If the council were to approve it,
Yeah.
then, no, somebody could come back in and change it.
if they wish.
But they would have to go through, so this is a city-initiated rezoning, which means the property owners didn't have to turn in or hire a surveyor, get a survey. They didn't have to write the letters,
You have to pay the fees.
pay the fees. If somebody were to come in and rezone these, they would have to go get a surveyor, do the fees, and go through the meetings all again.
Yeah. 4 months process, probably.
But what if the city wants to do it again?
I foresee no reason why the city would want to do it at all. This is just to get these lots into compliance once they're into
But could
the
they,
most.
even though you don't see it, but could they? Is it?
Not without doing this all over
Oh,
again.
okay,
Yeah.
but it
They-
could still be approved and it
Have
could
to go
still
through the
happen.
same
It
process.
still has to go through a planning and zoning commission and 2 council meetings.
Any other company? Oh, I ain't supposed to ask that.
I'm gonna turn it over to you.
No.
Anyone else like to speak in favor? Okay, if not, we're gonna close the public hearing on this and entertain a motion or discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve.